Do-do-do-do-do-do. Here we go. That's me. All right, here we go. Here we go. 5. Okay, calm down. Calm down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tom Shattuck. Nice to see you again. Tonight, I just got back from Howie Carr's studio in Needham, Massachusetts. It's nice being there. It's nice to be back. The show is fun. We had an organic show topic today. I was shooting Grace was finishing up. It's Grace Curley. She does the midday show there. She's like the coolest chick in the world. She really is. She is so comfortable, like, in her own skin. It is like it's amazing. You don't always get that with radio people, with broadcast people at all. Some of them are very insecure and neurotic and things. She's the coolest lady in the world. I made a joke that she was like smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer. She wasn't, but you would have thought she was. There's a couch in the control room. She got up. She was done with her show. She like jumped in the couch and just kind of like chilled. And was on her phone and shooting the breeze. Totally, she is cool people. We're lucky to have her. We really are. Because there's just not too many good radio talents out there, I think. And she's one of them. And many women who are in radio are into coffee clutches. They're not really. Many are in conservative talk radio. But sometimes there's a hard guy aspect. Then goes for guys too. There are more bad male radio people than women. But like I told Grace before, she's not a fake, and she's got a good rapport with her producer. It kind of reminds me. The only other person I remember who was a female in a radio host who guys could really enjoy, and not because they were like me girls or me like me, whoever you say that. Alice knows what it is. Was Laura Ingraham, maybe, about 25 years ago. But anyway, she's cool as a cucumber and good people, and I'm glad that she's got that gig and she's around. The radio show, while she was in there finishing up, me and the producer were just shooting the breeze about this and that. And we started talking about, producer's name is Jared. We started talking about he has a kid and they're homeschooling, and what town has this and what town has this, and he didn't want to deal, like, they don't want to have their kid, very rightfully in Massachusetts, they don't want to send their kid to school and have somebody try to trans the kid or any of these weird things that schools do. And if your school has a gay straight alliance room, what do you think that's for? It really is. I mean, it's not, like, there's no persecution of gay people happening in schools. So anyway, it got me to thinking that one of Alice's sisters might be moving up here, and so I thought maybe that's a good question to ask. What would you tell somebody who's a professional, married with one kid, coming up to Massachusetts? Where would you tell them to live? Because if you go by the schools, it's deceptive, because you don't want a town full of a-holes just because they have good schools. And so it actually made for, 2 minutes before we went on the air, I came up with the topic, guys, and it was good. It kind of got the calls going. It's kind of a call churner, but it's not a cop-out. It's not a lazy call churner, because I was interested, and it's all true, and it's the origin thing is true. It's not as if, like, what's your favorite dessert? It's not that. This is useful, because I wanted to hear what people had to say about towns in Massachusetts, so I thought that was pretty good. And then I had a lot of audio, a lot of Liz Warren audio. I don't even know like what I played last night or if I had any of that stuff last night, but I had it all today, and some other crazy audio. I think I played yesterday the what's it called, the Hampshire College thing. But I mean, it's a little bit of a hike to get down there. It's an hour to get down to Howie's studio, but once you're there, It's a good studio. That mic is really good. It's the same mic that Steve uses for Mainwire TV. In the studio for the Mainwire TV. The one that Rogan uses. It really sounds rich. You can hear it in your ears. It sounds rich. I did notice that Grace had the headphones jacked up really loud. And I think that's interesting because she's much younger than me. But I wonder if she's not hearing adequately. What is this, like some HIPAA violation? Leave Grace alone. Anyway, so anyway, they're all cool. I do like it there. I like the text line. I like that people are feeling more comfortable giving me guff. I don't like how fat I looked on Rumble. I feel thinner because of my Wegovy, but I have been eating badly and a lot. But it's by choice. I didn't have to. Like, I don't. If we go to a restaurant, the other day we went to IHOP. I didn't have to have a breakfast at all. I was not hungry at all. But we were there, and we were having breakfast, so I just got the usual. I couldn't quite finish it, but I didn't have to have it at all. But I still have, like, taste bud pleasure. So there you go. The other thing I like about Howie's studio is it's up on the 3rd floor, and so you look down on a dogwood tree. So the dogwood tree is just about the same height as the 3rd floor. But you look down, you never see a dogwood tree from the top down, or you rarely do. So I like that too. All right, was there anything else about Howie's studio? I haven't gyped anything from the studio. I don't think I would. It's a kind of an honor among thieves things, because you know Howie's kind of a gyper, and I'm a gyper. I think there needs to be a certain level of professional courtesy. I'm not saying like stuff off the wall, but he's got a lot of grift there, like a pen, that kind of thing, or whatever. But no, so I'm not going to. Traffic was perfect as it could be, getting out of there today because it's a holiday. Today was the marathon day in Boston. I don't have a whole lot to say about the Boston Marathon. I used to despise it. Well, I used to like it when I lived in Boston. That Monday, sometimes I'd have it off, and so we'd go down there and check it out. And it's tough to navigate because there's not a lot of room on the sidewalks because of the barriers. But, it's a party atmosphere. There's a lot going on down there. When I worked in hotels, I grew to hate the marathon people because they'd all, like, want you to ask them about the marathon. They'd be like, I'd be at the concierge desk and I'd see them coming in, and this is like 2 days before, and they'd say, oh, yeah, we're looking for dinner. And I would say, oh, really? Like, what are you thinking of tonight? And they'd always drop a hint, like, well, I really need to carb load. I really need to have a lot of carbs, if you know what I mean. And like, okay, we're doing this. And then the song and dance, oh, you're doing the marathon. Yep, that's right. It's only my 3rd marathon. I've done Chicago and New York. And like, oh, I have to say congratulations. Oh. But I was, customer service. I was sick of these people anyway. He had stupid pasta dinner, and then I did used to hate after the marathon. They'd come limping all around with all their aluminum foil capes that they'd wear all day, and like limping, and like you can change into normal people clothes, okay, and stop limping for 5 seconds. I will say that my friend Jay did the marathon like 20 years ago in Boston, maybe even longer, and he didn't limp at all. He did the marathon. He came, hung out with us immediately, and we all drank beers. And there was no oh, I'm going to limp around. I get it. Here's another thing about the marathon that I can't stand. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gone into this. I've seen on social media today a lot of people being helped over the finish line. And 2 runners ran back and helped him. And then some cop and somebody else helped somebody else who kept falling down. It's so played out. I'm just sick of it. Maybe it's the ride. Maybe I drove too much. I didn't drive that much. I don't care. Just, God, it's so self-indulgent. These runners are so freaking self-indulgent. I still hate the Sarnievs, mind you. That's a different thing. But God, just spare me. God, it's like people... It's like the Hollywood actors and stuff when I know you runners are all tight-knit and you bond, and I know you're raising frigging money, and you gotta freaking somehow, even though you were an a-hole in marketing to me, I have to pay you to do the pan mask challenge now. Ugh. But it's like the Hollywood people who preen on the red carpet. Well, we're doing the Boston, the Heartbreak Hill, and I do remember one thing that I liked about it. When I was in my 20s, I used to love the girls outside of Mary Ann's in Cleveland Circle were plastered. They were like lying almost dead in front of Mary Ann's like firewood. My goodness. I liked that back then, obviously. I still never scored with anybody, so it didn't really matter. But still. So yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine. It's for somebody else to enjoy, I think, at this point. If my kids want to get into it. I do have a son who probably should be jogging, who's got big, lanky legs. Who would be a good jogger? He's got to do that. I'll get him into jogging. I should be into jogging. I'm such a fat glutton. Ugh. I'm disgusted with myself. Anyway, so I want to talk about for a second just how bad this last administration was. They'll never make the noise that they should have during Biden. They should have made the noise. After he left, then they started to report after he was gone safely that he had cognitive decline. Only after it was all over and he was leaving. I mean, these people in the press are frigging poison. And this a-hole who was covering the border for MSNBC, is it like Jacob Soboroff or something? Pretending that the border was all fine. Just a-hole. The stuff they did with the border was disgusting. And it's so toxic. This last administration, these people were absolute poison. And the reason I bring that up is I was listening to the Perino on Politics podcast. That's Dana Perino. Stands alone as the cutest press secretary we have ever had. And she talked to Bill Melugin, who's the man my wife wants to marry. And she really should. He's kind of an impeccable person. I've never heard a personal interview with him before until this. But he talks about the border, and I just want to play this little cut here. It's more than a cut. It's a couple of minutes. Just of him noticing. She asks him about his coverage of the border and why nobody else during Biden, why nobody else was there. And I think that this is the alignment episode, the Jazz of Podcasts. Time capsule episode. I was at the Sox game today, but it was a disaster, and I don't even like the Red Sox. Okay, all good. Okay, so here we go. Listen to this. This is Perino with Bill Melugin today, and he talks about the border. And she asked him about the lack of coverage at the border.
Yeah. What was it like to be down there and be one of the only reporters there? Because you know stories, you know journalism. This was a huge story, and I would ask you, any other reporters there?
I know you always ask.
There weren't.
It was bizarre. It was lonely. It was bizarre because there'd be such crazy stuff happening around us, such visual stuff. I mean, thousands of people crossing. I mean, you saw what was on our drones. It's crazy visuals, and you would think, even if you're not going to go down there to talk about the border security aspect, you could talk about the humanitarian. I mean, we were watching people drown in front of us in Eagle Pass every week. It was some of the worst things I've ever seen in my life that we couldn't even put on TV is the sound of people's screaming, going underwater, and then fading away. Whether it was kids or adults and their body washes up down there. Like, we can't put that on TV, and a lot of these other networks claim to care about the humanitarian crisis. Where the hell were they? Nowhere. You know, we were the only ones down there for years. Some of them showed up towards the end, but it was hard for me to believe that such a big story was being ignored. And what finally turned it around, where others started paying attention to it, was when Abbott started busing them around the country. Then these other cities started, like, the border was no longer at the border. It started getting brought everywhere. And it wasn't just some dusty place in Arizona or Texas. It started showing up on people's doorsteps. Then there was a little bit more interest in it.
Did you have great sources. I'm not going to ask you to reveal them, but did you have any good sources in the Biden administration on the issue? Did they respond to you at all?
So technically the Border Patrol agents and the ICE folks were in the administration.
Right.
In terms of people like at DHS and stuff, no. I had people within CBP and Border Patrol and ICE, that echelon, that, yes, would talk to me. And they knew, like, I'm super, super, super protective of my sources. They know I'd go to jail before I'd ever burn somebody. And that's not just a saying, like, I will go to jail before I burn somebody. So they were comfortable talking to me. And, I mean, that's how we got a lot of those numbers leaked, you know, I mean, because they weren't releasing that stuff every day. I had to get internal CBP bulletins leaked to me, sometimes printed off and handed to me on physical paper, so there was no electronic trail of it, because they would go after anybody leaking. So, yeah, I mean, if that's how we got the Gotaways numbers.
It must have been surprising to you to then watch the White House press secretary and the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Now listen to this. This is so revealing, just the degree of how dastardly this White House was and how terrible the press was.
Be on television saying the border is secure. And we would have saying that and the split screen of the drone shots that Fox News had down there.
It would drive me insane. I would be at the edge of the river, and I'd hear in my IFB, or earpiece, Karine Jean-Pierre saying the border's closed, the border's secure, as I have 1,000 Haitians walking in behind me, waving at us like they're in line at Disneyland. And then I remember in May of 2023, one of the ones that ticked me off the most, I was in Brownsville. It was when Title 42 was about to expire. It was like one of the worst times at the border. They were getting 80,000 in a single week. And we had been reporting that like 70% of the migrants were being caught and released right there at the border. And
into the country.
Into the U.S. And Karine Jean-Pierre gets up at the microphone and says, we are not allowing any releases of illegal immigrants into the country, as I'm doing live shots at the bus station in Brownsville, Texas, where hundreds of illegal immigrants are walking around with their manila folders from DHS right after they had been released. And they get on buses and planes and go all across the country. So she's saying they're not released as we are literally watching them get released by the hundreds in front of us. And it just was like...
You got to know some of the local people there who live there, have business.
So the interview goes on, and they talk about the locals saying, like, where is all the media? Because there are people showing up in camouflage, trespassing through my yard. It's like, where is all the media? But this media said, no, it wasn't happening. They're so in cahoots with that administration, and they were so freaking poisonous. And so anytime you hear, first of all, that Trump, this is unprecedented, things are going, it's terrible, the worst, like, F you people. The storytellers, the fact checkers, they're all liars. They're all propagandists. They're all freaking dastardly. They suck. By the way, that's the Perino on Politics podcast, if you want to listen to it. I do subscribe to that podcast. It's good. It's usually her with a political consultant. You get a little inside info. But, yeah, the Washington, D.C. press corps sucks. Trump can never be mean enough to them. And also, the way they act and try to get you to be anxious and get you to be scared and get you to be, it's amazing. The left is full of alarmists, and they're alarmists, and they alarm the base, they alarm the voters and Americans, and put them in a panic, which is why they're all on SSRIs, and all the kids have trauma and are afraid of getting shot in a movie theater, or transing left and right, or are afraid of climate change. They do this stuff, and it's just poisonous. Let me play for a second here. I don't think I played this. This is, let me find it here. This is Buttigieg with a woman at an event here. Listen to this. This is a voter asks him this question. And so let's get into the minds of being on the left. This is a voter asking at a town hall, Pete Buttigieg, who's running for president, a question. And listen to the question, where this woman's mind is, and listen what he does. He's a McKinsey guy. He's a guy with a high IQ. He knows what he's doing.
Thank you. Hi. Every day I wake up scared because a person I love is trans. And I'm waiting for the day that they start banging on doors and taking our trans and our gay friends and family to concentration camps. And they can't get, our trans friends and family can't get a passport to safely flee this country. And I know that...
Now, wouldn't you, if you were a human being with empathy and compassion, stop her right there and say, I don't want you this to weigh on your heart, because you should know that that's not true. There's no trans concentration camp. That's not true. Please don't worry about it. Yes, they can get a passport. They probably may have to get one with their actual gender on it. but they can get a passport. Wouldn't you say that if you're a human being, a caring human being, like he pretends to be, him and Chasten in their maternity ward with their little hospital Johnnies on? Wouldn't you want to put this woman at ease? Nope. The left doesn't give a. They're happy that she has self-traumatized, and that probably everybody in her family is dealing with it too, because the traumatized left can never keep it to themselves. They've got to share the trauma. And listen, he just lets her go right on.
There's nothing you can do about that. But if you could, what would it be?
Well, first of all, it's horrible that you have to even think about that kind of fear for somebody you care about.
Well, why don't you stop her then, Pete? If you're not a piece of why don't you stop her from feeling that fear and mention to her that in the United States, you have the most rights in the world ever in history of the world ever in history. And if you're an LGBTQI plus ampersand, then you have even more rights because everybody has to pretend to accommodate you. So why don't you tell her not to fear there's no trans concentration camps? Why don't you do the decent thing and tell her that? Why? Because you people are frigging sadistic, mean opportunists.
And it's horrible that so many Americans live in that kind of fear for themselves and for those they love. And it
you guys bought babies. Like, stop it, dude. You spoiled bastard.
Be that way, and it doesn't have to be that way. Because as divisive a wedge issue as that has been made to be, for political purposes.
Why don't you tell her it's all right? There's no trans concentration camps to make her feel good, Pete.
By politicians.
Why don't you tell her that ICE aren't Hitler and that maybe people should stay home and stop tackling ICE agents out in the streets? Why don't you tell her that, Pete? Democrats, why don't you tell these people something that's good and soothing to them and comforting to them?
Who figure that stepping on people's faces is the best way to get ahead. Because they definitely don't want to be talking about why they want to cut Medicaid or why they think taxes ought to be cut for billionaires. So they want to talk about this. But it remains the case that most Americans do not believe that somebody should be discriminated against, let alone harmed, because they are transgender or gay or anything else.
Well, then tell her, go the whole way and tell her it's okay. It's not happening. He doesn't do it because he's a cruel, selfish prick. These people, man. Ugh, these people. So freaking ugly. So ugly. That you wouldn't give somebody a little bit of relief like that. Okay, Tom, don't read this out loud. I'm great. Is that Trish? Greetings. Tardiness. I just ate Doritos. Effing why? Tommy, New Hampshire. I don't feel tardy. Here we go. Is that hot for teacher? I brought my pencil. Come on, man. That was great. Give me something to write on. We're doing a Van Halen video. Is what's going on in here. Yeah. Splash says, tell her she's a bleeping idiot. Yeah. Cheswick says, can I get a job at the concentration camp? Steve from Merrimack says, black people will not vote for you, Pete. Don't even try. Yeah, that is true. Pete doing a Bill Clinton biting lip impression. You're right about that. Yeah, the McKinsey speak. I agree with you. I hate this McKinsey speak. Splash says, I want to see this woman get eaten by a shark. Remember him saying he was in his personal time when a reporter asked him questions in the street at night? Yeah, I forgot about that. That's when he was with Chasten, right? This is after they did the thing in the hospital, Johnnies. Okay, let me hear another thing I wanted to play. This, you know Rosa DeLauro, right? She's the insane Connecticut congressman with the purple hair. This is talking about this administration's going after all the fraud, right? So she's talking to Doug Burgum, and he's discovering that there's more fraud. He's the Secretary of Interior, I think. But he's discovering or Secretary of Energy, Interior, I think. And listen to this. Listen to this. May have to deal with this crazy loon with the blue hair.
Look at some components of the Fish and Wildlife Service are proposed for complete elimination. That includes the state and tribal wildlife grants. Is that wrong?
There was a review done of the grants on the grant side, and that is an area where there's been substantial review. We found organizations that were receiving grants from Interior where 80 to 100% of the revenue of that NGO was a grant from the federal government. And yet those organizations, we were the sole source of their revenue, but they would have a CEO making $650,000 and $400,000 lobbyists.
Let me just...
Yeah, and she's not having it, of course. She does not appreciate that. Can you imagine that? All of your income is the grant. And the CEO draws from the grant. It's like, how the... If you guys knew about all these grifts, I hate you in the chat. If you knew about this and didn't tell me. Oh, my God. Can you imagine? All these grifts. Alice and I were talking about it last night. It's like, this is coming out. This is the biggest frigging thing just happening. It really is. And it's going to be in the trillions. Trillions. In other news, Alice is upset because Patrick Muldoon died, actor and producer. He was 57 years old and died suddenly following a heart attack. 57 years old. He was the guy who slept with Denise Richards in Starship Troopers, like the bad captain. Well, he was on the right side, but Alice is upset because she misses him and she likes him. There's this viral video of this woman, U.S. Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow, dancing in the hallway. Democrats do this now. They dance. And she's dancing like Kamala is dancing. And people hate it and say it's going to be the end of everything. She's kind of cute, so I'm for her. Sorry about that. There's also this audio of these fellows, the boys having a good time singing. You've probably heard this. I assume that this is probably a gay men's choir, but I do like it anyway. Gonna be voting. Yeah, the lads, I would say, are enjoying themselves there. There's some thick mustaches in that group, man. I do like the song. Gay Men's Choir, man, they seem to enjoy themselves. I used to hear them in Beacon Hill. They were on, like, what's the street they were on? Not Pink. Was it Pinckney? Not Pinckney. They were on maybe it was Pinckney. Near Louisburg Square, whatever it's called. I forgot how you're supposed to say it. There used to be a rule, though. Let's see. New York Post has a story about a tiger. He leapt into the crowd. Didn't maul anybody, but that's tough. There's this is all a visual, so this you can't do anything with, but this teacher's in trouble. Calls are going for the teacher to be fired after this video was posted. It shows this blonde teacher, like with a short skirt, who's a smoke show, teaching a lot of young kids, and this is the song she's singing with them to teach them.
Okay, almost there. Count it out. Hey! Count it out. Hey! Count it out. Hey! Count it out. Hey! I said, do it how you do it. Okay, count it out. I said, do it how you do it. Okay, count it out. That's a quarter. 25. And a nickel. That's 5. And a penny. 1 cent. And 10 cents is a 5. I said, do it how you do it. Okay, count it out. I said, do it how you do it. Okay, count it out. That was perfect.
So she's apparently in trouble now because her skirt is too short and whatever. She's in trouble, and the guys, the boys in the chat had this figured out hours ago. She's in trouble because she's hot, straight, and blonde, and she's not a 500-pound drag queen with short purple hair and a nose ring. That's why she's in trouble. We like her, obviously. We are all for More women being hot women. I'm sorry about that. Oh, we just are. Atlantic writer David Brooks, who went much, much younger, who wed much younger assistant after ditching wife, mocked for giving a talk at Yale about love advice. And how much, what's the difference here? Let's see. Hold on. Sorry, guys. My ad blocker's stopping this. I just need to do this thing. Come on, baby. Okay, come on, Siri. Leonard Brooks. Okay, pause it on this site. Okay, here we go. We're all going now. Atlantic writer David Brooks, who married his much younger former research assistant. It's a dog thing to do, but I get it. After divorcing his longtime first wife, was blasted online for a planned lecture on, of all things, love. The ex-New York Times columnist, known for questionable use of social science and egghead, whatever, he was giving a talk, How to Fall in Love with Somebody. You probably thought a lot about your professional life and your intellectual life, read an event description. But what about your romantic life? Let's have a practical conversation about people who fall in love. I just need to know. Online critics were quick to point out that the irony of Brooks, 64, pontificating about love in light of his own questionable life decisions. While married to his mother of 3 children, hire a young research assistant, Josh Benton said. He was alluding to the fact that Brooks married his ex-assistant, who's 23 years younger than he. So he's 64. That makes her 41. Is that right? 41? I've got no problem with it. I don't hate David Brooks. I know he has TDS. He's been broken. But and he's on that stupid show with Jonathan Capehart, but I don't hate him. I know he's broken, but I hope that there's a time when a lot of these people kind of come home. You know what I mean? I hope there's a time when a lot of these people come home. All right, let's get to the chat, shall we? I'm sorry, I'm a little tired, I gotta say. I don't want me to be Jonah Goldberg bitching about being tired, but I'm a little tired. So that's 4 hours of talking with Howie, and that's 2 hours. It's an hour each way driving. I am an American hero for doing it, and I would like to be treated as such. But this is what I have to do, to start to pay off some of my daughter's new baseball glove. Her $329 great baseball glove, which still right now makes me want to projectile vomit. Oh, God. All right. Oh, yeah. Splash says all men's choirs are gay men's choirs. That makes sense, I guess. Okay. Oh, God, she's the ultimate Viagra cure. Yeah, that was Rosa DeLuro. Anyone else having nauseated by the dead baby teeth discussion on today's dead baby teeth? Burn barrel? Was anyone else nauseated by the dead baby teeth discussion on today's burn barrel? What is... Oh, my dead baby teeth. Yeah, that is... here it is, actually. You want to see it. It's on up here. It's on down here, too. It is disgusting. I don't like other people's teeth, and especially my teeth. I'm fat and old, and why am I showing teeth? It is gross. I apologize. I should probably be beaten for that. But that said, it is the truth. I have these baby teeth that are here. It's gross. I hear you, Steve. You're correctly calibrated to want to punch me for that. Nobody here can tell me, honestly, watching this Rosa DeLuro character get beaten to death with a comically oversized mallet wouldn't make their day. John in Wakefield says, I miss the dead baby teeth. No, that's just about dentists when I was saying they're a fraud. Cheswick says, I need to start an NGO. I know, dude. Believe me. I know. I want to work for the NGO, too. Who's this Alice you speak of? She's the woman who abandoned me on my podcast. Paul would sing to Tom this way. He would not sing to me. I would not be shocked at all if he was part of that choir, because I think he lived in Beacon Hill. Always root for the animal. Yeah, the tiger. She is cute. The girl, the blonde teacher. Hola. Those kids can't sing for bleep. Well, they aren't bad. I don't have a problem with the teacher. No. She can't teach, but she can inspire. Yes. What was the problem? Too heterosexual? Yeah, apparently. The problem apparently was the skirts and, like, you know what it is. Dangerous with Tom, of course. No grasp of the bro code. That is sometimes true. I'm surprised David Brooks didn't go for a guy. Oh, no, I don't think so. Wasn't it Brooks who wrote the totally obsequious article about Obama working out? I think he did. Tom married somebody 23 years younger than him. Was she? No, she's 17, I think. Years younger. 23 years? I would, though. I don't even, if Alice divorced me and a woman who was 21 wanted to get married, am I gay suddenly? Come on. Tom, I have no problem. Steve from Eric says it's more like 2.5 hours of talk, 90 minutes of live reads. That's Howie you're talking about. There is truth to that, my friend. Julian Phil say, pissed now? Just wait when Sally retires from softball in 3 months. No kidding, dude. No kidding. Oh, money down the drain. You don't freaking have to tell me, but that was her mother. You let mom go out with the daughter and... Oh. Let's do the chat. Oh. 3 from Steve from Merrimack. I always love Steve from Merrimack leaving a chat.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
I've been away,
Hey, Steve.
but now I'm back. How do I hate thee, VB? Let me count the ways. Actually, that's an exaggeration. I don't hate him, but I dread him. I dread any time you mention that he's going to be on.
Why?
And I'm dreading deeply that you might try and make him somewhat of a permanent co-host of the BB. He's not interesting, Tom. You're interesting. I don't think he's that smart. Shattuck.
What?
What is he, Jabba the Hutt?
Oh, my goodness.
Shamalama Ding Dong, Solo. Give me a break. And he blew me up a bunch of times when he was Howie's producer.
That's the problem here. This is an old guff between you guys.
In the 90s, because I would call up and call him out on his stupid opinions, especially his stupid opinions about movies. Oh, please. No mas.
Yeah. So VB, it's funny because he didn't run the board. So somebody else always did that. So he was just kind of an extra there, really, because he didn't run the board. And then Sandy used to answer the phone. So, like, I don't know what his role kind of was in the show if he didn't run the board, but he was a second chair. It was a great second chair. You leave him alone. There's a lot of VB hate out there. There's a lot of hate. There's going to be hate for anybody I have on for that amount of time. But I did want to be quite honest, that first show without Alice, I wanted to be able to play a canned interview so I could answer the chat in case you had questions about where Alice was. So.
Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
I got 3 words that made me want to vomit while listening to today's episode. And the 3 words are dead baby teeth.
Yeah, I get it. You can see it. It looks like there's no tooth there. You actually can see it. In all my pictures, it looks like there's no tooth because it's black because it's got a filling in it. The fillings back when they were, like, made of lead.
Okay?
Yeah.
Dead baby teeth.
I know.
I don't know how on earth you landed Alice.
I know.
Love is blind.
Yeah.
Holy Christ. It probably can't smell either. But dead baby teeth in your mouth? I cannot imagine how disgusting your mouth is. Let me ask you a question. You brush and you floss.
Yeah.
Do you brush your tongue?
Yeah,
when you brush?
I do.
Brushing your tongue is actually a vital thing to avoid horrible, heinous breath.
Yeah, I think it is.
I guarantee you don't do that.
I do it. I've done it for 30 years.
Just go get a cleaning. You have so much freaking plaque on those teeth. We could probably build a pyramid with it. Oh,
that is unfair. totally unfair. I have good oral hygiene. But it's just that there's no roots under the teeth. If you want to know the truth, maybe Toast. We should have Mr. Toast on to discuss. I tried to get them remedied. Okay, the freaking dentist wouldn't do it. But it is gross. I agree. I would be disgusted if some fat guy was telling about his dead baby teeth. No adult should talk about his baby teeth. It's like having a dermoid cyst. It really is. Look up dermoid cyst. I was listening to Dr. Dean Adele in 1992. He talked about dermoid cysts and how it's a cyst that's on your skin. And if they open them up, they can find like head hair and like teeth in them. Effed me up. My whole 92, my whole Wayne's World premiere movie experience was ruined from having to rid my mind of dermoid cysts thoughts. Oh, come on, Dr. Dean. Do better.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Tom, you were discussing on Howie's show today whether there are any conservative towns left in Massachusetts. And I want to give a shout out to Merrimack, Mass.
Really?
Yes, where I have owned a home for 23 years. And if you're looking for a cute little downtown with lots of nice shops and lots of places to eat,
then go to Amesbury.
Merrimack is not for you.
Right.
Believe me, there's nothing here.
Well, there's nothing there, but there are a whole bunch of things that should be something. There are storefronts and things. It's just two convenience stores. You can get beer and liquor and 1,000 different manicures in Merrimack. But there's much more there than there is in West Newbury.
But, what is here actually is a nice, quiet, conservative town. The people are nice, but they stay out of each other's business.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Nothing crazy.
I know a woman named Maris who actually listens to this podcast, I think. Now that I've doxed her. Who got approached because she had a Trump sign. She's ballsy. She had a Trump sign, and somebody said, "Why do you have that sign?" and yelled at her. She didn't take. She took it. I would love to interview her. She's a firebrand. She stood up for herself. I probably would have folded, but she did. She did. I didn't know Merrimack at all was conservative at all.
Happens here. There's not 80-year-olds with surgical masks and no king signs on every corner on random Saturdays.
That's a great point, Steve, because there certainly is in Amesbury, and there are also in West, and obviously in Newburyport, obviously.
I think the school system is good, but again, your kids are way younger than mine. My daughter went from the age of 3 through that school system, and I think she turned out okay, and there was no craziness. But I would vote Merrimack. Thank you.
Geez, I never thought of that before. I never thought of it. I know that there's that great old bar, and I have been pulled over there a couple of times. I don't love getting pulled over, especially when there's open containers in the car. I don't love that. But also, one other thing about Merrimack. Steve, you're getting a new bar. Did you know that? Merrimack is getting a new bar. Right in downtown, there's a new build happening there, and there's a new bar there. And I think this week there's somebody acting like Abigail Adams at the library. Well, that is kind of wholesome, actually. That's a good point. It's not a drag queen at the freaking library. It's somebody acting like Abigail Adams at the library. So there you go. That's Merrimack. All right, Steve, I appreciate it. I'm glad. I'm thrilled. I love Merrimack. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for being so much fun in that chat, too, by the way. Tell your friends, please join the show. Please watch the show. Please. I'm with you on Justin Splash. Baby Teeth played the channel at 89, and Wargasm did. Oh, God, disgusting. Leave my anal fisher alone. That's a dead Baby Teeth podcast. See you guys later. Thank you.
C'est la vie.